Welcome to the channel and welcome to this review of Order Battletome Lumineth Realm Lords. That's right, GW have very kindly sent me this, the latest Battletome for free of charge for your reviewing and... it's not unboxing, for your reviewing pleasure. As you can tell, I'm currently being mauled by a furry animal who's ignored her dinner but is still hungry, and hasn't worked out that eating her dinner will make her unhungry. Sigh. So, Lumineth Realm Lords. Right, slight disclaimer first. I am not so up to speed on the Lumineth Realm Lords as I am on other things, so this won't be quite so slick and profound as you might expect. So I'm going to flick through the book. I'm going to talk about some of their rules, talk about what narrative content's in here, and look at some of their data sheets. Not all of them. I out of principle, I'm not going to talk about any of them that have got what I consider to be silly horns. I'm going to ignore those, skip over them. But first, but by no means last, we have the flavour text at the front of the book, which I do enjoy reading through. Magnificent they are, the Lumineth of Haish. These numinous beings are swift and dexterous, quick of mind and skilled in the arcane arts. Their title of Realm Lords is no idle boast, for over the centuries they have won the allegiance of many strange and wondrous geomantic entities that dwell throughout the Realm of Light. When these elven war hosts take to the field, their glittering Gnari phalanxes, their spearheads and arrow tips blazing with the harnessed sunlight, are joined by the arcane warrior monk disciples of the elementary temples and towering warforms inhabited by the Haish's most enlightened and powerful land spirits. Few foes can withstand such a potent concentration of excellence. But the strength of the Lumineth has come at a price. Arrogance, lust for knowledge, and their own obsessive temperament once led them down a dark path, one that almost saw them annihilate themselves in cataclysmic civil war. Only the wisdom of the Archmage Teclis, perhaps the mightiest mage in all the cosmos, and one of the twin creators of the Lumineth race, granted the elves the chance to reinvent themselves and make amends for their many sins. That quest for atonement still drives them onwards and has left them determined to end the scourge of chaos, no matter the cost. Much have the Lumineth to be proud of, though their skill and tenacity with the great necromancer defeated, and the nightmarish soul wars ended. But now the era of the beast has begun, and the elves find themselves matched against primal forces that even they are hard pressed to counter. Their perceived self-righteousness of the Lumineth has won them few friends, and from the shadows many enemies plot to bring about their downfall. The elves of Haish are to prosper. They must expand their reach across the realms. Time will tell if the lessons of the past will continue to guide them, or if their own brilliance will once again blind them to an impending disaster. Da, da, da. I appear to be sniffling. This has come on over the last 5 minutes. So this might get abandoned if I'm unable to breathe. But if you're watching this, it hasn't been abandoned because I've then posted it, which means it was a fairly pointless thing to have said. I should have just thought it to myself and carried on. Lessons learned. Okay, so what do we have in the book? Well, first off, the lore. We've got Scions of Illumination, a bit of a shtick about what the Lumineth Realm Lords are all about. Little ditty about Ether Quartz, the realm stone of Haish, and how they use it. We've then got a lovely double-page spread of the Lumineth fighting against Slaanesh demons. That's a very pretty piece of art. I would totally have that on my wall. Then we have a section about the rise and fall. So how they were created, how Teclis and Tyrion rescued elven souls from the gut of Slaanesh, and after several unsuccessful attempts, hashtag Idoneth, they created the Lumineth. But like elves in most GW stories, they go off on one and start to do horrid things, and only after a disaster do they decide to buck their ideas up. And yeah, we've got a 2-page summary of how that happens. Then a chunk about the Soul Wars and Nagash's assault on Haish. Then a section on how the era of the Beast and the coming of Kragnos is affecting Haish and the beasts within it. Then a nice little 2-page thing with a really nice diagram, the Twin Realms. The Twin Realms of Haish and Ulgu, and how they work in counterpart to each other. I like this bit. This page was nice. Then 2 pages about Settler's Gain, which is the Stormkeep in Haish. Then we have got the obligatory map. The Land of Illumination. Then we have the little vignettes from the Age of Myth, the Age of Chaos, and the Age of Sigmar. I mean, basically not a lot happened during the Age of Chaos. They locked themselves away, and they went, aren't we smart? And ignored the fact that Chaos was insidiously nibbling at their minds, going, you know, that's smart, are you? No, why don't you go and kill him? Yeah, go on, it'll be a laugh. Yeah. Did you hear what you said about your thesis? Yeah. Stab him. And quite a lot about the Age of Sigmar. Then we have a nice 2-page thing on runes. Again, it has smacks of older Codex Eldar books. We've got a number of the elven runes and their meaning, their names, and I imagine these runes appear on the miniatures somewhere, or some people very possibly paint these freehand. They're very cool. Then the war hosts and how they are, how they're arranged. I like the fact that they talk about the twin gods, and there's the Tyrionic aspects are the Gnari, so they're the warriors, and the Tekilian aspects, the Sinari. So these are your people. Then we've got a page on a couple of these are the sub factions. So what do we have? We have something had just appeared on my screen and I don't know what it was. It needs to go away. But if I click OK, send data to HP. No, don't do that. Okay. Sorry. These are the sub-factions. Ymetrica, the Scions of the Peaks. Ymetrica is the land of 1,000 peaks, a rugged expanse of mountains and chasms. Cabins? Introspection and self-reliance are the hallmarks of its inhabitants, for in the shadow of such vast summits it is easy to appreciate one's insignificance against the cosmos. Unsurprising then that the Alarith temples hold such sway here. Sia, the makers of wonders. No Lumineth are as skilled in the binding of magic into potent artifacts as those of Sia. Okay, I haven't read it, but I'm going to guess they contain multiple relics. Over the centuries, the Gnari have fashioned miracles and horrors in equal measure. Naughty elves. By their hands were many of the most apocalyptic tragedies. See previous page where they go off on one and stab each other. Of the Okari Dara facilitated. I'm going to get many of these pronunciations wrong first time through. The fact the Gnari seek atonement for even now. Elathia. Eliatha, the mothers of the spirit. Strange and wondrous are the arts of the Elathians. These elves place great stock on the propagation of life, both naturally and otherwise. Hashtag necromancy. In their quest to see their inner light multiplied, they have employed many potent magics, spells of regenesis that have seen their numbers flourish, but have also cast a shadow over their nation's past. Zytrek, the lambent mystics. This one's got blue fire coming out of it. It is said that magic as well as blood runs in the veins of the Zytreki elves. When the Lumineth of this great nation go to war, they do so surrounded by shimmering clouds of sorcery, wielding the power of the ether and with a preternatural skill. Factor in the blessings of the moon spirit Selenar and the Zytresi are formidable indeed. Illumina, the Indomitables. The elves of Illumina are renowned by their kinsfolk for their almost relentless daring. It is a reputation well earned. These pioneers, I thought it said prisoners, are constantly roving past the edges of civilization, seeking out wisdom in the most inhospitable regions. In battle, their courage manifests in defiant formations that few can overcome. Helen, children of the solar wind. Helen is a windswept... Helon. Not Ellen. Alright, Ellen? No, Elon. Helon is a windswept land constantly buffeted by raging gales and capricious zephyr spirits with little love for mortals. The elven nation that has established itself here is populated by souls who recognise the struggle endemic to life, who never waste a chance to show off their skill, especially the arts of the keen-eyed marksman. Now, the little pictures next to all these are very pretty. I mean, we've got sort of blue and gold, we've got purple and gold, we've got orange and gold, we've got blue, red and gold, we've got red, white and gold, and these are green and beige. I like the aesthetic of these. I like those. Okay, so they are the 6 sub-factions. I imagine they are all going to be represented in the rules. Great nations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I wonder if they do get to have... Oh, no. Ether quartz. Not thingy. Yeah. Right, then we've got a bit on Teclis. The Beacons of Enlightenment. Oh, these are denizens of Haish who've become true luminaries, even by the standards of the realms of light. The light of Elrathian, Elanthia and Ethanor, Lyrior or Thare. I'm not an elf. Paragons of the Gnari. Okay, so now we have the bit where it talks about the different unit types. So we've got Venari Lord Regents, Venari Bannerblades, Venari Dawn Riders. Aurelian Wardens, Aurelian Sentinels, Blade Lords, Starshard Ballistae. Then we've got the Wielders of the Arts Etheric. So the Gnari Enlighteners, the Gnari Caligraves, Calithiars, Law Seekers, and then the Scions of the Mountains. These are the Earth Spirits in whatever forms they take. The Alarith Stone Guard, the Alarith Stone Mages. Okay, so these are warriors from the Alarith Temples, and mages from the Temples. Then Alarith Spirits of the Mountain. They're a separate thing. The Gale that Slays. Swift and deadly are the warriors of the Huracan Temples, supplicants of Haish glorious winds. They move with the speed of a howling gale, long hair and brightly coloured pennants. Okay, so we've got ones that take their lead from Tyrion, ones that take their lead from Teclis, ones from the Earth Temple, ones from the Wind Temple. Is there a Fire Temple, I wonder? So we've got Huracan Wind Chargers, Wind Mages, and Spirits of the Wind. They're the sort of half cat-like ones, I think. And that's it. So we've got Earth, Wind, but no fire. Okay, then we've got the artwork, and this first double page is a nice chart. Is Lumineth versus Crawboys. Looks pretty. Then what have we got? Facing Skaven, specifically a Vermin Lord. Ooh, this is pretty. This is one of the big earth spirits, one of the cow things with hammers, which I'm not going to pass comment on, fighting the Kronspine Incarnate. That's pretty cool. Even with the horns. Then we've got these look like shots from different temples, and some fighting against Night Haunts. Night Haunts indeed. Then a Slanesh fight. Who are these ones fighting? Oh, Gloomspite. There's squigs on this picture. That's cool. Nurgle No. Flesh Eater Courts. Then Nurgle Demons. Zinch Demons. And this looks like... Come on, Larry. You're not making life easy. This looks like a Chaos Force combined with... it is a Chaos Force with a... what are they called? A Mega Gargant with them. Then we're into the painting guides. So we've got Eumetria, painting guide for the armour. Then the scale on the blades. And then the Eumetria crests, the skin, teeth, bows, stallions, other details. Then some smoke. Then we're on to Alarith details. Zytrek. Eumetrica. And then basing. So not all of them. It's focusing on a couple of them. And some basic styles. Excuse me. Then we're into the rules. Okay, so obviously there are the Great Nations, and they are sub-factions, and we will come on to those in a bit. So, we have two main battle traits. Lightning reactions. During the first combat phase, after any units with the strike's first effect have attacked, when it's your turn to pick Lumineth Realm Lords units to fight, you can pick 2 eligible Lumineth Realm Lords instead of 1. Neither of these can have the Strike Last effect. Okay, so the first time you pick a unit to fight, you pick 2, because they're faster reactions, reflexes, and they can go quicker. Okay, that works. It's not the whole army, so it's not gross, but it's a little bit of extra. And if you haven't got a lot of ongoing combat, it does give you that advantage. So that's interesting. Then Ether Quartz reserves. Each Realm Lord unit in your army starts the battle with 1 Ether Quartz reserve. Once per phase, you can say that 1 unit will use its Ether Quartz reserve to do one of the following abilities. However, you must subtract 1 from the bravery of the unit for the rest of the battle. It's emotionally draining according to this flavor text, which is why bravery goes down. So, heightened reflexes. Add 1 to saves until the end of that phase, when they're picked as a target for an attack. Heightened senses. When you shoot or fight, add 1 to hit rolls to the end of that phase. Magical boost. After it's attempted to cast a spell but before any unbinding rolls are made, add either 1 to the casting roll or re-roll the casting roll. So they're the generic ones. One moment, caller. There's like... okay, right. Right, command traits. We have 4 different types, and it looks like we've got 4 different types of command traits and artifacts and so on. So Lord of the War Hosts, the Gnari, so Teclis's dudes and dudettes. Grand Strategists. +1 to the roll if you use heroic leadership for that general. So you get an extra command point on a 3+ with that guy or gal. Consummate Warrior. Reroll 1 hit roll or wound roll per turn or save roll. Okay, I'm not a big fan of those because they're things you've really got to remember all the time. But okay. Almighty Blow. When you fight, you can say you will unleash an almighty blow. If you do so, pick an enemy within 1 inch. Instead of piling in and attacking. And then roll a dice on a 2+, the enemy suffers D6 mortal wounds. Could be a 1. Could be a 1, but they're mortal. Right, Lords of Brilliance, the Gnari, so Teclis's folk. Spellmaster. Once per battle you can use Ether Quartz without having to Ether Quartz. Lawmaster knows 2 extra spells. Fast Learner. Can attempt to unbind 1 extra spell in the enemy hero phase. And the second time they unbind a spell, you can re-roll the unbinding roll. Okay? Right. Air. Lords of Air. The Grand Windrider. Replace the general's wind leap ability with... if a friendly wind charges unit starts its move within 24 inches of this general, when it makes a move, it has the move characteristic of 16 and can fly. So, presumably, there's a thing on one of them. Come on! Wind. Come on, Windy. Where are you? Stone Guard. No, no. Wind Mage. Wind Charger. Wind Leap. Looking for Wind Leap. Wind Leap. Okay, so ordinarily for your Huracan Wind Mage, friendly wind chargers within 16 inches have a move of 16 and can fly. Within 6 inches have a move of 16 and can fly. This makes it 24 inches. Ooh. But that means that your mage has got to be your general. So, okay. Swift. Add 3 to the general's move. Gravity Defying Champion. Once per battle, you can reroll one run roll, one charge roll, and 1 casting roll for this general. So 3 specific rerolls, I take that to mean. Right, Lords of Stone. Tectonically Attuned. You can add attacks to a Spirit of the Mountains Geomantic Blast ability. Enduring, +3 wounds. An Unyielding Toughness. At the start of your hero phase, pick a friendly Stone Guard unit wholly within 6 inches, add 1 to the wound characteristic. Right, now we're into Artifacts of Power. I'm not going to go through all of them. The Gnari, Gifts of the Sun. Sonari Pommel has an extra point of Ether Quartz. Sinewy Amulet can run and charge. Heirlooms of Heish, the Skinari, Teclis's lot. Silver Wand can attempt to cast an extra spell. Rune of Senthoi. Add 1-to-1 binding and dispelling rolls for the bearer for each hero within 6 inches of the bearer. Okay, so you get a whole bunch of heroes together. Teclis hero within 6 inches of the bearer. So you get them all together and they can just go, no, turn spells off. Okay, Gifts of the Winds. Wind Blast Fan. Once per battle at the start of the enemy movement phase, you can pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of the bearer. That unit must retreat. So, Gift of the Mountains. Heartstone Amulet. Has a ward save of 4+ against mortal wounds. Magmic Hammer. Add 1 to the number of mortal wounds caused by arcane bolt spells cast by the wearer. Okay. Right, spell laws. As you might expect, we've got 3 of these. So, Teclis, his wizards, and Gnari wizards. We have Speed of Heish. Double a unit's movement. Solar Flare. This is a AoE mortal wound bomb and can dispel endless spells. Protection of Heish is a ward save of 5 up. Overwhelming Heat is a debuff, halve the movement characteristic of the enemy and potentially take some wounds. Ethereal Blessing. Ignore modifiers when taking saving rolls. OMG. Okay, so you cast that on a unit and you turn off your opponent's rend. And positive rolls as well, so similar to Nighthaunts, it's got a drawback, so you can't all-out defend to increase your save. Well, you can, but it doesn't do anything. And Total Eclipse. Your opponent must spend 2 command points to issue a command instead of 1 until the next hero phase. That is nasty. Then Law of the Winds. There's only 3 of these. Howling Gale. Pick an enemy unit within 12. It can't issue or receive commands to your next hero phase. Healing Zephyr. Friendly unit, heal D3 wounds. Transporting Vortex. Pick a unit up, redeploy it somewhere on the battlefield, outside of 9 inches of your opponent. Law of the High Peaks. Unbreakable Stoicism. Stone Guard's Crushing Blow ability causes mortal wounds on a 5+ instead of a 6+. I imagine we'll get to that. Crippling Vertigo. Every time it's a debuff for an enemy unit, you've got to roll. Every time they want to move or run or retreat or charge or make a piling move, they've got to roll 2 dice and get under than or equal to their bravery. So, not much effect really on Nighthorns, but Skaven and Grots will just stand there defecating wildly, trying to do anything. Living Fissure. Okay, that's a draw a line. Units hit on a 2+ across that line take mortal wounds. Okay. So now we're on to the Great Nations. The Great Nation of Ymetrica. Mountain Realm. When units that have the Enduring Rock ability are targeted by an attack, change the range characteristic of the attack to dash. Okay. If it's got a rend, it ignores rend 1 or 2, basically. The Great Nation of Sar. They each start with 2 Ether Quartz reserves instead of 1, so it's not about artifacts. The Great Nation of Elathia. Once per turn, you can say that 2 friendly units will use their Ether Quartz reserves in the same phase instead of only 1. So it must be you can only do 1 per phase. The Great Nation of Zytrak. Add 1 to casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls for friendly wizards. The Great Nation of Alumnia. Okay. Claim the field. If the base of an Illumina Gnari unit is touching the base of 2 or more models in the same unit, each model counts as 2 for the purposes of contesting objectives. So, sort of, form a tortoise! And the Great Nation of Hellock. These are the green ones I liked. Add 1 to attack characteristic of missile weapons while they are within 6 inches of enemy units. Shooty shooty. Okay, so we've got all the Path to Glory stuff. Do we have any battle plans? Yes, we do. The Vanguard of Light. Okay, so this is a mission around the Lumineth destroying a baleful realm gate. Okay, cool. Right, then we've got the battle hosts. Various combinations. I'm not going to read them all out, but the ability you get is Extraordinary Discipline. At the start of your hero phase, roll the dice for each hero in this battalion that is on the battlefield. On a 4+, that hero can issue a command in that turn without a command point being spent. Oh! So lots of rally, lots of all-out attack, all-out defense, lots of at the double, lots of forward to victory, an inspiring presence. Lots of it. Okay, now we come to the thingies. Okay, so first we have... That's Techless? Okay, so we've got Techless. He's got silly horns. I'm not reading him out. Special characters. Venari Lord Regent. 6 wounds, 3+ save. Regent Sword, 5 attacks, 2 damage a go. Level 1 Wizard. The Power of Haste spell. Cast on a friendly unit with Sun Metal weapons, and their Sun Metal weapons ability causes a mortal wound on a modified 5+ instead of 6. So Sun Metal weapons, if the roll to hit with his sword, with their sword, is 6, causes 2 mortal wounds, which is the damage normally. Purest Ether Quartz. Subtract 1 from hit rolls that target the unit. Add 1 to the casting roll when he attempts to cast. When it attempts to. Why am I reading he and it's just not there? Attempts to cast the Greater Power of Heish. If it uses its last unit of Ether Quartz, it cannot use this ability for the rest of the battle. Okay. Then Venari Banner Blade. World Banner. You can reroll charge rolls for friendly Lumineth within 18 inches of any friendly banner blades. Oh yeah, this is a banner blade. In addition, once per battle at the start of any phase, you can say the unit will draw on the Power of the World banner. You do so, roll dice for each enemy unit within 18 inches. And then compare the roll to the current battle round and potentially suffer D3 mortal wounds and -1 from hit rolls. That's nasty. Sun Metal weapons also, so he does. So Sun Metal weapons. I'm surprised it's not a faction rule, but it's up. Oh, of course, because faction rules, if they're being used as allies, you don't get the faction rules. That's why it's on the War Scroll. So Sun Metal weapons appear to be, if you roll a 6 to hit, then you convert the damage to mortal wounds. So if it's damage 1, because 1 mortal wound, damage 2, 2 mortal wounds, and then the attack sequence ends. Okay, Aurelian Sentinels. This unit is a wizard while it has 5 or more models. You can attempt to cast 1 and dispel 1. Many-stringed weapon. So this has a bow and a champion's blade and a dagger. Is this... Okay, so they're archer wizards. Right. Many stringed weapons. Each time the unit shoots, choose either the aimed or lofted shot characteristic. So you've got a short range, easier to hit, better rend, but a longer range option. So if you're within 18 inches, you're 3+4 +-1. If you're 18 to 24, you're 4+4 dash. Okay. Sun Metal weapons. Okay, so it doesn't specify melee attacks. Arrows and blades are tipped with Sun Metal, so this applies also to the shooty shoots. Shining Company, -1 from hit rolls that target this unit if the models are touching the bases of 2 or more of the... Right, okay, so the touching the bases of other models appears to be a relatively common faction thing. That's who we've seen 2 units with it so far. So this one is -1 to hit them if they're all squished in together. Scryhawk Lantern. Add 6 to the range of the lofted bows. That will make it 30 inches if it's within 12 inches of other friendly Aurelian Sentinels or Star Shard Ballistas. Okay, so they can get buffs from other units. The Power of Heish is their spell. And they can only cast it... any number of wizards can cast the Power of Heish in the same hero phase. So they can all attempt to put it on themselves. Then we've got Wardens. These look like they're dudes and dudettes with spears. It's a wizard if it's 5 or more models. Sunmetal weapons. Wall of blades. If the target unit charged, add 1 to wound and improve the rend by 1 on your pikes. So the pikes are 2 attacks, 3+4+ dash. But if someone has charged you, you've got a sort of Braveheart Styx moment, and you're going to wound on a 3 and the rend's -1. Shining Company. If you're squinched in together, -1 to hit them in, not just in melee, just in general. And then Power of Hish. Then Gnari Dawn Riders. These are cavalry on horses. It's a wizard if it's 3 or more models. Deathly Furrows. At the start of the combat phase, you can say it's going to use its Deathly Furrows ability. Add 1 to the attack characteristic of the unit's weapons, but can only target units that have a wound characteristic of 1 or 2. And do not have a mount. Or add 2 to the attack characteristic of a unit that's got 1 wound models that don't have a mount. Okay, so they have an ability that lets them do more attacks against little tiny things. So they don't get to repeatedly hack at big things, but they get to mow down the tiny little blighters. Lancers of Dawn. If they charge, add 1 to wound rolls and improve rend by 1. So the mirror opposite of the Wardens, who get that when they are charged. The Dawn Riders get it if they charged. Shining Company. If they're squinched in together, -1 to hit. To smaller units, they're less likely to be squinched. Sunmetal weapons and Power of Hish. Gnari Starshard Ballista. Okay, so this is big long-range shoots, 30-inch range, 3 attacks, 2+3 +-2 D3 damage. Warding Lanterns. Has a warding save of 6+ if it ward save of 6+ if it remains stationary in the I need the book. Don't sit on the book. No sitting on the book. Stop it. Scryhawks. Add 6-inch range to Starshard bolts if it's within 12 inches of any other friendly Starshard ballistas or Aurelian Sentinels. So they buff each other. Keen-eyed Artillerists. If the unit targets a monster, the damage characteristic is 3 instead of D3. And Blinding Bolts. Once per battle, you can fire Blinding Bolts. In addition to any other damage inflicted, the target subtracts 1 to hit until the end of the turn. So 5 asset things you're about to charge. Gnari Blade Lords. So these are interesting. So they have Shining Company, so -1 to hit if they're squinched. Some metal weapons. Guardians. These can take wounds from other units. Swordmasters. So they have 2 different with their sun, they can either have some metal dual blades, and they are 3 attacks, 2+, 3+, -1 damage, or with the sun metal great blades, they have other choices. Now I've seen a discussion on these recently, people speculating what they were going to get, and I think the Great Blades are a better option. They're Great Blades! So you can either Perfect Strike, 1 attack per model, 2-inch range, Hits on a roll of dice. On a 2+, the target suffers a mortal wound. So it's 1 attack each, and they do mortal wounds directly. A perfect strike. Or Flurry of Blows. Flurry of Blows is 2 attacks, 3+3+, dash 1. But you add 1 to the attack if you're targeting a unit of 5 to 9 models. Add 2 to the attacks if you're targeting a unit that has 10 or more models. So it scales. They're a scaling blender. Okay, what else do we have? The Gnari all appear to be characters. I'm going to skip over some of these. I mean, even the simple troops are making my head hurt. The Alarith Spirit of the Mountain. 13 wounds, 3+ save. I know it's got horns, but it's not an elf with horns. It's a giant mountain cow with horns. No, I've changed my mind. I'm not going through that one. The Alarith Stone Guard. They've got... These have all got the horns. Alright, I'll go through I'll cover the horns up. 2 wounds, 4+ save. Stone Mallet or Diamond Pick Hammer. Range 2 inches, 2 attacks, 3+3+, -1, 1. Crushing Blow. Roll a hit to 6 to hit. Does a mortal wound in addition to other damage. Fortune of the Earth. 4+ ward save whilst it's contesting an objective that you control. So if you're trying to take one off your opponent, they don't get it. But if someone's trying to take it off you, they get it. Enduring as Rock. Rend -1 weapons, you change their rend to dash. Okay, they seem quite cool. Then the Stone Mage that goes with them. What's their spell? Gravitic Redirection. The caster can fly until your next hero phase. In addition, pick an enemy unit within range, which is 18 inches. If you do so, it halves its movement characteristic and cannot fly. So you turn the gravity underneath you off and the gravity on someone else on. It's like, no, you can have my gravity. I don't need that. I don't need that. It's weighing me down. It's weighing me down. Okay, then we've got the Wind Mage, who is riding a cloud like a Saiyan. Fan of Redirection. I'd want to save rolls for attacks made with missile weapons. If your modified save is a 6, you can cause mortal wounds to enemy units within 9 inches of this unit invisible to it. So you're batting things away with your fan. Move like the wind. You do not have to finish a pile-in move no further than the nearest enemy unit. In addition, you can move an extra 3 inches when you pile in, so it's just extra move. That can, I suppose, take you out of... you were to charge move, you can pile in an extra 3 inches. Okay. If it doesn't have to... So you can fight and then make your... Oh no, pile-in move comes before that. So if someone's charged you, or you're locked in combat, and you get to activate, you can make your pile-in move, which does not have to be towards and end up nearer the nearest enemy unit. You can move out of 3 inches. Okay. Wind Leap we discussed earlier, and their spell is Wind Blast Vortex. 9-inch range. Pick an enemy unit within range invisible to the caster and roll a dice. On a 2+, it suffers D3 mortal wound. So it's mortal wound output. Wind charges. These are on some kind of weird Camel Goats. Yeah, I'm going with Camel Goat. Ward saves cannot be made for wounds and mortal wounds by attacks made with missile weapons from this unit. Go where the wind blows. It counts as being able to fly. Move like the wind. When you make a piling move with this unit... Oh, it's the same. You don't have to end up near the... So the same as we've just talked about. And what do? They've got bows. Decent bows. 2 attacks. 3+3 +(-1). 12 inches, though. And they can use the bow to hit you with 1 attack. 3+3 +(-1). They're kind of cool. I kind of like the Camel Goats, actually. They're kind of cool. Then we have a couple of special characters. We have some more special characters. Oh no, these are thingies. Underworld warbands. Then we're on to Endless Spells. Haitian Twin Stones. After this endless spell is summoned, place a dice beside it with 1 facing up. Each time a wizard casts a spell within 12 inches of it, add it to the total until to a maximum of 6. When a wizard within 12 inches casts a spell, they can say they're going to draw on the power of the Twin Stones. They can add the value of the dice beside the endless spell to the casting roll. Then after the effect of the spell has been resolved, the endless spell is removed from play. Ooh. Okay. I wonder how many points that is. Well, I don't have to wonder. I've got the thing right here. Twin Stones, 50. 50. Sanctum of Sanctum. Barrier. Range invisibility cannot be measured through the spell. And the spell has 3 parts. Must all be set up within 3 inches. Okay, so it sort of goes round you. Sigil of Gnari. Subtract 1 from hit rolls and add 1 to save rolls for the target that the summon the endless spell whilst on the battlefield. And if you're targeting them in combat, you can potentially rebound mortal wounds onto them. The endless spell is removed from play if the model that summoned it is removed from play. Oh no, so while the endless spell is on the battlefield, range and visibility to and from the model that summoned it is measured to and from the endless spell. So I got that wrong a moment ago. Then what's its point? So it's -1 to hit and +1 save. So it's stand at the back and be more buff. And that is how many points? 50. Okay. And then Rune of Petrification. It's an endless spell casted by you with 18-inch range. At the start of the movement phase, at the end of the movement phase, roll dice for each unit within 6 inches of the endless spell. Doesn't affect Lumineth models. On a 4+ of a D3 mortal wounds, as I guess they turn to stone. And -1 from run rolls and charge units that are within 6 inches. I like that. That's cool. Okay, so what are we looking at in terms of the pitch battle profiles? So, the Wardens are special. They're battle line. But for each unit of Wardens you include in the army, you can take 1 unit of Sentinels or Dawn Riders also as a battle line unit. So they are the only battle line unit, the Wardens. However, so they want... GW want those to be the core of your army. And then you get to take Sentinels and Dawn Riders with them. I like that. And they're the sort of Teclis-y one, Tyranny ones. The Stone Guard are battle line in a Ymetrica army. The Wind Chargers are battle line in a Helon army. They're the green ones. Gnari Blade Lords. For each Cenarian hero in your army, you can take a Blade Lord unit as a battle line unit. Okay. Faction. Allies. They can ally with Daughters of Cain, Idoneth Deepkin, Sylvaneth, and Stormcast Eternals. So there we go. Lumineth Realm Lords. I know more than I did about Lumineth Realm Lords 12 hours ago. They've got some pretty nasty stuff in there. And on that note, hope you enjoyed that video. Hope it's useful. Shout out to my channel members and patrons for your ongoing support. You guys are awesome. If you want to support me, channel memberships are a good way to go. You get access to exclusive videos, like battle reports and hobby vlogs, and also our what's it called? I can't remember. My brain's not working. The Thondia campaign is on there as well. 5 episodes. That was good fun. Another way to support me is shopping via one of my channel affiliates. If you look in the description of this video, and you're about to rush out and pre-order Lumineth Realm Lords, well, if you do it from Element Games or Firestorm Games, both of whom I have affiliate links with, they know that you come from me, and I get a commission, which is nice. I'm going to stop talking now. Take care, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. How do you turn it off then?